right, good evening, everybody. We're going to call to order the Tuesday, December 7th meeting of the Corte Madera Town Council. Rebecca, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Lee.
Here.
Councilmember Mongan. Thank you. Councilmember Ravazio.
Here.
Vice Mayor Casissa.
Here.
And Mayor Beckman.
Here, thank you. Please join me in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that brings us to item 2 on our agenda, which is open time for public comment. This is an opportunity for any members of the public who would like to do so to comment on any items that are not on tonight's agenda. And members of the public will be given 3 minutes apiece, and you can comment via Zoom by raising your hand, or you can email publiccomment@tcmmail.org. We're going to start with Roy and then go to Pat.
Good evening. I want to talk about 2 subjects tonight: Town Hall project and inflation. We've seen that inflation is really creeping up, and at one of the meetings on the Town Hall project, I had mentioned the price of lumber, 1,000 1,000 board feet of lumber, being a crazy number of over $1,600. And it had gone up from, and that was in May of 2021 this year. In March of 2021, it was $300. It's now $949, and that's about 113% above what it cost in 2018. Now, we know that the word transitory has stopped being said because we know it's not transitory in inflation. CPI is up over 6% year over year. And I've looked at some material costs, building material costs, and electrical side. They've doubled in price in the last year. Now, a number I saw today from Bloomberg and Double Line on the cost increases of goods over the years from 2008 to 2019. That's a 12-year span. The cost went up 48% in that period of time. From March of 2020 to November of 2021, that's less than 2 years. Are you ready? Hold on to your seats. Prices of the cost of goods went up 46%, almost as much as they did over the previous 12 years. So it may be in order to take a look at what the cost of the Town Hall project may be related to inflation, including temporary facility costs and that sort of thing. So is the cost going to be, in generally, overall, $11 million, $13 million, $15 million, $20 million, $25 million? So I think it's important to take a look and assess what that cost may be. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Roy. And we're going to go to Pat next.
Hi, everyone. I won't thank and congratulate Eli on his great term because I know it's coming up later on the agenda. I'm actually calling tonight to encourage everybody who's listening, which is probably the same 15 to 20 people who are normally listening, to call up a buddy in town who wants to get involved or is always talking about wanting to make a contribution, and have them show up to this housing meeting on Thursday night. I've gone to the first 2 and they've been excellent. The consultants are really smart and well prepared, and Thursday night they're going to be giving to the community some options for what properties may be suitable for development for housing. So whether you loved Wind Cup, whether you want to see 4 more Wind Cups, or whether you want to have some great creative dialogue about how we can do meaningful, affordable housing and get some great community benefits out of it at the same time. And I would encourage you guys on the council to let your neighbors know that they should come. It's really a great creative way to make a contribution to the future of the community. And if I have just a second left, I'll say about the inflation question. You know, as he's right, inflation is super scary right now, but we have our sales tax money, and as prices go up for everything, they're also going up at our two amazing malls. And with all those car dealers and all of the tax revenues that we have coming into town, I really think unlike any other community in Marin, with our substantial retail tax base, I think we can relax a little bit and just, know that we're going to be riding the wave kind of on both sides. We'll be taking in more at the same time that we're spending more. So anyway, thanks for your time, and thanks you all for your service. Night.
Great. Thank you very much, Pat. I don't see any other hands up right now from folks on the line. Rebecca, did we get any emailed public comments for open time?
We did not receive any emailed public comments for open time, but I just wanted to jump in since I know Todd will mention this later during reports. The housing meeting is actually tomorrow evening at 6:30, not Thursday. So I just wanted to let everyone know that it is tomorrow evening at 6:30, and the link is available on the town's website.
Great, thank you. If there are no other public comments for open time, we will close open time, which brings us to item 3 on our agenda, reorganization of the town council. And we'll start with 3A, which is a recognition and presentation of gifts to outgoing Mayor Eli Beckman. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
Presentation.
Yeah, this is awkward on Zoom. I'm so sorry. It just never does the justice. But we do have your gavel gifts, Mr. Mayor. And, I just want to say, all of our accomplishments are our council accomplishments, but the mayor and the town manager have a unique relationship during that period of time where, as you all know, the mayor acts as really the day-to-day kind of consultant with the town manager, and we work closely as things come up. And I'll just say that we have extended the mayor's term through COVID, which was really an unprecedented time. And I've just really have grown to appreciate your thoughtfulness. You have high expectations, and as you should, and you're very fair, you're very supportive of staff, and watching you problem solve and work through issues in real time. A lot of our conversations in the middle of the night, texting, calling, really trying to be thoughtful in how we approach things. And you've taught me, how to be thoughtful, more thoughtful. And I really appreciate that. And COVID was a big one. Home key, we had Councilmember Mongan and Vice Mayor Casisa really take that torch and really implement the working group and making it successful in those beginning days of politically of how it impacted our community and how it scared our community. The decisions that were made up front in the middle of the night, as we talked about that, your fingerprints are all over that. And, a lot of people don't realize that, but you really started that roadmap for success. How you supported the businesses and residents through COVID, how you approach, climate and adaptation and how we should think about that, I think is trend setting for our town. The town hall project with some of your background has been really helpful through the process. Community chats, really improving town communication, which we still are striving to be better. But the thoughtfulness you've implemented with communication and those community chats, I think really got, changed the perception of government in this town, and really brought, communication straight to the community. Having access to our mayor and all of our staff on a weekly basis, I think was just a really amazing win for the town. And that was your recommendation. And so I could keep going on, but I really appreciate you. You're not going anywhere, but I just really appreciate your thoughtfulness and your support of staff. And how much you care about this town. You've done a really amazing job. So congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you so much, Todd. Thank you, Rebecca. I guess we'll take council questions if there are any before we go to public comment here.
No question, but just great job, Eli. And one thing is, I don't even think we could tell COVID was going on because you didn't miss a beat. You just kept the town rolling, and you couldn't even tell that there was like no difference, except for some masks and stuff like that. But other than that, you just kept everything rolling. So great, good job.
Well, I think we all know that the real credit goes to the staff, but thank you so much, Fred. I guess we'll open this up for public comment now, and then we'll just take any last comments from the council before we get to the actual reorganization here. So if any members of the public would like to comment on this item, please go ahead and raise your hand via Zoom or email publiccomment@tcmmail.org. And I'll just ask Rebecca if we got any emailed public comments on item 3A.
We did not receive any emailed public comments on item 3A.
Great, thank you. And I'm not seeing any hands up from folks on the line. So we will bring this back to the council. If you guys don't mind, I'd just like to share a few parting thoughts. Parting as mayor, obviously not going anywhere as a council member, but you know, I had hoped we'd be able to do this in person, and I think that was your guys' very gracious intent when you as the council decided to extend my term out for 8 months back in April. I think we had all hoped that we would be through COVID by this point, but that's how life goes sometimes, and we roll with the punches. But I did just want to say that, you know, as many of you who know me know, serving as the mayor of my hometown really has been the highest honor of my lifetime, and I think of it as the most meaningful thing I've ever done. And I think if you think about it, our town has been through a lot over the last year and 8 months. We've dealt with a viral pandemic. We've had global economic collapse. We had a tense national discussion about social justice and racism that continues to this day. We had a contentious Project Home Key that was located in our community. We have a drumbeat of legislature from Sacramento with the potential to bring really big changes to the way Corte Madera's built environment looks. And at the same time, we've been scrambling to address the threats of climate change, you know, in worse flooding and worse wildfires that we were, I think, as a community, really as, you know, globally, we were far too slow to wake up to this. And I think it's incredible that despite all of that, I really do feel like we have accomplished an incredible amount. You know, looking back, we've kept dozens of residents in their homes during COVID who were at risk of eviction. We balanced the budget all throughout COVID without any layoffs or cuts to services. I don't personally know of another agency that can say that. We oversaw an ambitious business development strategy that helped our local businesses bounce back from COVID. We created, accepted a long-range climate adaptation plan that began to answer the big, thorny, you know, 50-plus year questions of how do we protect our homes and businesses from flooding and wildfire. We put the town on a path to fully funding its pension liability, which is incredible. That's a huge issue that's dogging, you know, public agencies all up and down the state. We instituted a raft of new policies to protect public finances. Through doing that, we brought the town's credit rating to AAA, which is the highest possible. You know, coming from a not that distant past in Corte Madera's history of you know, real financial distress. We delivered tens of millions of dollars in infrastructure improvements for residents. We supported the creation of permanent supportive housing for members of our community here in Marin who were formerly homeless. And we formed a climate action committee to reduce our local contributions to climate change. And we created new opportunities for residents to participate in local government and participate in oversight, which I think is so important to the transparency of local government and us earning and keeping, you know, the faith and the legitimacy that residents place in us. You know, I say these things not to take credit because, as you guys all know, these achievements are not any more mine than they are anybody else's on this council or at town hall or, like, you know, really even in the community. But I say this because when I look back on all that we've done, I feel proud as a resident and as a council member, knowing that Corte Madera's local government really is serving its residents well. And being a part of that positive change is the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. So I just want to, you know, I'll close by thanking my fellow council members, our incredible, hardworking, dedicated town staff, our wonderful community here in Corte Madera. Want to thank you guys all for everything that we've accomplished so far together, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're able to accomplish together in the future. So thank you, everyone. We'll open up for any other comments from council members now, and then we'll move on to the reorganization here. Leela.
I just want to say.
Oh, you know, Leela, I'm sorry, your audio is pretty faint. These virtual meetings never get easier. Well, I think Leela is going to try to solve any tech issues she may be having. Any other comments from council members in the meantime?
How's this?
Better.
Okay. Sorry, that's so weird. I just wanted to say, as someone new to local politics, I feel like you've set a really high bar and you've really shown a lot of dedication to the town and professionalism in the way you've held the office of mayor, and really shown a lot of sincerity in the way that you interact with other people. And I think those are things that we can all aspire to in our roles in public office. So I just want to thank you for that and for your service to the town, and I look forward to continuing to work together.
Thank you very much, Leela. I appreciate it. If there are no other comments from council members, we can go ahead and move on from item 3A and move on to 3B, which is the selection of the mayor. So with that, I am going to open the floor for nominations for mayor of Corte Madera. Bob.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Fred Casisa.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second
Charles seconds. Great, thank you, Charles. Rebecca, do we open this item up to public comment before a vote? Great, okay, we're going to take public comment on the nomination of Fred Casisa for mayor. If you'd like to comment on this item, please go ahead and raise your hand via Zoom or email publiccomment@tcmmail.org. And I'm not seeing any hands go up. Rebecca, did we get any emails from folks telling us who they think should be mayor?
We did not receive any emailed public comment.
Great. Okay. Well, then, seeing no hands up, we're going to close public comment and bring this nomination for mayor back to the council for a vote. And if you would go ahead and give us a roll call, that'd be great.
Okay. Councilmember Lee,
Yes.
Councilmember Mongan,
Yes.
Councilmember Ravazio,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Casisa,
Yes.
and Mayor Becker.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Fred, congratulations to you, Mr. Mayor. And I will let you take it from here with item 3B.
Thank you very much, everybody, for the support. And Eli, you may be a tough act to follow, so hopefully I can step in your shoes. With that, we'll move on to 3C, which is the selection of vice mayor. So at this point in time, I'd like to open up nominations for vice mayor. Eli,
I'd like to nominate Charles Lee.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, I'll go ahead and open it up to public comment. Anybody from public wishing to speak on selection of vice mayor, please raise your hand. I see none there. Any, Rebecca, do we get any emails coming in on this subject?
I have refreshed, and no, we did not receive any emailed public comments on this item.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment. And with that, if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Thank you. Councilmember Lee,
Yes.
Councilmember Mongan,
Yes.
Councilmember Ravazio.
Yes.
Oh, and Councilmember Beckman. Sorry, I have
Yes.
order now. And Mayor Casisa.
Yes. Congratulations, Charles. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and move to presentations 4A. I guess it's one of my first acts of merit. It's an honor, I guess, to recognize Lena. I won't say her last name because I'll probably hack it up, but Lena has served the town for 22 years of employment, and she's she's going into retirement. And with that, Lena, can you bring her in, Rebecca?
Oh, she is currently a panelist. I'm just asking her to share her camera again.
Okay. How you doing, Lena? I think you're muted.
I'm good. How are you?
You're good, great. You're all smiles.
I am.
You look extremely happy, peaceful, and everything looks good.
Yes, yes. I'm
Um,
excited.
As your service to the town, we'd like to present you with the commendation. If you're okay, I'll go ahead and read through it.
Sure.
This commendation to Lena for service to the town of Corte Madera, whereas Lena has worked diligently and faithfully for the town of Corte Madera since May 1999, when she began working for the town as a part-time business licensed field enforcement officer. And whereas Lena's integrity, hard work, dedication, and commitment to the town led to a full-time position in December 1999. And we got a lot of whereas here's. Whereas the town has received many letters of appreciation and thanks from residents and business owners for Lena's helpfulness, pleasant manner, and kindness. And whereas Lena's careful and consistently excellent work and willingness to take on new tasks result in a promotion to financial analyst in April 2015. And whereas Lena has provided excellent service in the area of business licenses and accounts payable and is regarded as an authority in these areas. And whereas Lena has consistently strived to continue learning and improving by completing many training courses. Now, therefore, the town council of the town of Corte Madera does hereby commend Lena and expresses its profound appreciation for her significant and invaluable services to the town of Corte Madera, spanning more than 2 decades. You're truly an amazing member of our town's family. And this is presented December 7th, 2021. And Rebecca will have the more formal commendation for you. But we really appreciate your years of service. I have one question for you, and then I'll throw any comments in up there. What was the biggest change you've seen in the last 22 years, either in town government and or the town?
The town, how it's grown and so many different, new people and just like a new building. And it's, I mean, I enjoyed every year and it's gone by really, really fast. But I just enjoyed working for the town for 22 years. But it's time to retire.
Again, we appreciate your service. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you'll come back. When you come back, you'll see a brand new town hall in about a year or
Yes.
so. The place will look completely different.
Yes, it will. Thank you.
Thanks again. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lena.
With that, we'll go ahead and move on to item 5, which is the consent calendar. These are items which are routine or have been discussed previously and do not require further discussion. They will be approved by a single motion. Any member of the town council, town staff, or the public may pull or remove an item for further discussion. And with that, is there anybody from the council or town staff that wishes to pull an item from the consent calendar? Okay. Is there anybody from the public wishing to pull an item from the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, do we have any email that came in regarding? Yeah, Bob, go ahead.
I was going to make a motion, but go ahead.
Any emails that came in, Rebecca?
No, we did not receive any emailed public comments on the consent calendar items.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment. I'll bring it back to council for a possible motion or further discussion. Yeah, Bob.
Move to approve items 5A through 5G.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, we have a second by Charles. Any other further discussion? Go ahead and call for the vote.
Let's get my order right this time. Councilmember Beckman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mongan,
Yes.
Councilmember Ravazia,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lee,
Yes.
and Mayor Casissa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 6, we have no public hearings. Item 7, business items. We have 3 of them. The first one is 7A. This is considering possible adoption of resolution number 55/021, which has to do with compensation schedule B, and also resolution number 56/2021, amending the compensation schedule. Can we get a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor Casissa. I'm actually moving Ashley over to panelist right now. She should be.
Bring it over, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Again, the staff report was presented to council at our last meeting. Per council policy, this is a 2-meeting item. And so what I'd like to do, if you're okay with it, Mr. Mayor, staff is available to answer any questions regarding this report and our request at this time, instead of giving you the whole presentation a second time, unless you would like it.
I know that works. We'll keep it short. Thank you. So does anybody have, I'm sorry, does anybody have any questions for staff? Okay, I'll go ahead and open up for public comment. Is there any public comment regarding 7A? Seeing none, did we get any emails regarding this 7A subject?
We did not receive any emailed public comments.
Okay.
This item.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and bring it back to the council for further discussion and or a possible motion. Yeah, Bob.
Move to approve resolution number 55/2021 and 56/2021. Can I do both at the same time?
Yes. Is there a second? Okay, we have a second by Eli. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Councilmember Beckman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mongan,
Yes.
Councilmember Ravazio,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lee,
Yes.
and Mayor Casissa.
Yes. Okay, moving on to 7B, consideration and possible adoption of resolution number 57-2021, revisions to department head schedule. Appears that this is a 2-meeting item also. Therefore, I will not call for the staff report. Does anybody from council have any questions on staff regarding this item? No? Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. Is there any comment from the public on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to council. I'm sorry, Rebecca, do we have any emails that came in?
We did not receive any emailed public comments on 7B.
Okay, with that, I will go ahead and bring it back to council for further discussion and or a possible motion. Yeah, Leila.
Move to approve resolution 57-2021.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Councilmember Beckman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mongan,
Yes.
Councilmember Ravazio,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lee,
Yes.
and Mayor Casissa.
Yes, this is moving way too fast. 7C, consideration, pardon?
No, it's not.
I can't tell if I talk too fast sometimes. If you want me to slow down, let me know. Bob's going, no way, keep it moving. 7C, consideration and possible adoption of resolution number 58-2021, approving a publicly available pay schedule in accordance with CalPERS regulations. Staff report.
This one is brief. This I can probably handle for Daria. This is required. This is a required CalPERS action that we have a publicly available pay schedule available on the website. And anytime you council action changes any salaries, that pay schedule must be updated.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and open up for public comment. Are there any comments from the public regarding approving a publicly available pay schedule in accordance with CalPERS regulations? We have one, which is David Bell. I'll let you drive for me if you don't mind, Rebecca.
Yes.
So David, go
Should
ahead.
be unmuted.
Yeah, thanks. Slow down. I know you want to get out of there, but I just want to say there's members of the public. Maybe I'm just one. We are watching. I love what you're doing, but slow down on. Sometimes I can't get to the agenda until you're on it and you move too quick. It's just 30 seconds, please slow down. I'm not opposing anything that has been said or done. Please slow down. Over.
All right, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. Sometimes I think I just talk too fast. All right, thank you, though. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on this subject? David still has his hand raised. I can't tell if you want to.
Oh. No, I just needed to lower it.
Okay, did we get any emails in on this subject?
No, we did not receive any emailed public comments on item 7C.
Okay, thanks. Okay, with that, I will go ahead and bring it back to the council for discussion and a possible motion. Is there anyone who wishes to start discussing this item or bring up a motion? Yeah, Eli.
I'm happy to make the motion on this item, and just to clarify that this is merely us posting public information. This is not a policy decision.
Okay. Is there a second or any other discussion? Yeah, Bob.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion from any of the council members? Okay, with that, I will go ahead and call for the vote.
Councilmember Beckman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mongan,
Yes.
Councilmember Ravazio,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lee,
Yes.
and Mayor Casissa.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody, for those. With that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rebecca.
No, that was, I started the timer and I did not stop the timer. So that was the ding expiring timer.
Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and move into council reports. Todd, you want to lead us off?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. There's 3 meetings coming up. One of them was mentioned by Rebecca. It's on the homepage of our website. The Casa Buena community meeting is on January 13th. And they'll be introducing Homeward Bound of Marin to the project, which we're really excited about. We're also, as we talked about a few council meetings ago, we're transitioning our business licenses services at Town Hall. HDL will be overseeing that transition. And so we're starting to communicate that to each of the businesses and making that process as seamless as possible. And we'll report out to the council as we go, just to make sure that we're hitting those fine points that council has pointed out to us from an equity standpoint, should any issues arise. And the third one is, again, we have our housing workshop number 3. It's on December 8th at 6:30. And then we recently put out a PG&E survey, both on our social media platforms, as well as mailers to each community member. I believe we have up to 400 or close to 400 responses already, which is really outstanding. This is so important. So everyone on this meeting call, please reach out to 10 other people or as many people as you can and get them to complete that survey. The survey is important to the work that the town is doing to really, as we engage PG&E on undergrounding those utility lines from a safety standpoint, from an aging standpoint in the entire community. So we are focused on the hillsides from a fire risk, but it involves the entire community, and our data and our report is only as good as the information from each of our neighborhoods. And I think when we think about, PG&E and power shutoffs and fire safety, each area of our community has a unique issue potentially. And so that survey, you want to be represented. So you want your neighbors to be represented in the survey, because it'll matter later in our decision making with PG&E as we go. And I also want to point out that there's no intent right now from the town or PG&E. Our expectation is PG&E through a pilot program will start to underground major portions of our town. And so the expectation isn't to raise taxes, to do a property tax, to do a community facilities district. It's the expectation is PG&E will support this. So please fill it out. The questions are unique. They're different. They're not some of the questions that I would expect to ask you as community members, but they're important because they have to do, our entire report and survey has to do with the decision-making matrix of PG&E, how they consider undergrounding. And so we're using their data and their decision-making. And so again, as odd as that survey may seem to you, please complete it. Reach out to staff if you have any questions. We hope to bring something to the council as an update, probably in the next 2 months as we complete this important work. Yes, Councilmember Monken.
Sorry, just a quick question, because I know around my house, around this time of year, especially, mail gets lost. If people have lost their postcards, is there some other way for them to complete this, like online or something like that, or request a new postcard? Or?
Yes, you can do it online as well. Rebecca, do you have that, the area of the link? Sorry, I should have that off the top of my head.
The link for the PG&E undergrounding?
Is that in our newsletter?
Yes, it's actually one of the news and trending topics on our website right now, and it is also on the newsletter. But the carousel of rotating news items and on our website there's a link to PG&E electrical power undergrounding survey. And if you click on that, it will link to the survey.
The second one is the finance subcommittee met this morning. Our mayor is on that subcommittee. The important work that we're working on right now, there's going to be 3 major topics. The first one that we're tackling is how to handle or provide a recommendation to the council on how to bring our retiree health fund to full funding status. The second one is how, as a recommendation from the CalPERS, our savings from the bonding, it's about $800,000 annually. Right now, our CalPERS account is super funded by $2.5 million. And so this year, there'll be a discussion of how we want to spend that $820,000 savings. And so the finance subcommittee will be giving you a series of recommendations. We also have approximately $2 million in American Rescue Act monies. We're going to analyze that and provide some recommendations to council to consider. And we also have an approximate $2.5 million surplus right now in the general fund. And so we're going to give a few recommendations for council to consider as well. So we had the initial meeting, staff will come back probably next month and give a high level executive report and recommendation to council probably in February. The second one that we're working on is our town-owned shopping center, Corte Madera Station. We're going to start to do an analysis in early this year. It's on the work plan from council on just from a financial perspective of where we are and maybe present some opportunities of timing for council to consider as we move forward on opportunities for that center. You'll have that report probably the summer of this year. And the third piece is, as we follow closely the Park and Rec master planning process, we're going to start to look at funding mechanisms currently that the town enjoys on an annual basis moving out over the next decade or so, but also potential new ones to support, the master planning process as we go forward. And so that'll be towards the end of the year as the work is completed. We want to support this process with some dollars and cents and to have, hopefully we can deliver some of those projects pretty quickly in our capital improvement project plan. So they'll be very busy this year. One of the other things, it's always a timing issue, but those that have read the recent Marin IJ article on the pavement condition index, each year, we basically, all the cities and town communities in the state get evaluated on the condition of their pavement. On average, you want to be, for us, we really don't want to go below 65, right? 65 is considered fair. It's not a D grade, it's a satisfactory grade, it's fair. But if you go below it, you have to spend an extraordinary amount of money to get back where you need to be and then to improve it. So where we want to get to is a maintenance point. We want to get to 70, 71, and we want to be able to stay there and maintenance it as we move forward. And that's really the work that RJ and his team have been doing. The article, if you read it, makes it sound like we've gone backwards. We went from I think a 67 grade to a 66, and that's really, it's a snapshot in time. And so I asked RJ to complete an analysis and so we can share that with our community, because our sales tax measure, that's infrastructure, and we promise that to our community, and that's absolutely what we've been doing as evidenced on the east side of Corte Madera. The last few months and moving forward, 10% of our roadways are being paved right now in that area. And so if you looked at today, where we are today, our index is actually a 71. It's not a 66. And so I want to share that with our community, and I want to provide that report and analysis so they can read it and see it in real time, knowing, that their sales tax measure monies are coming right back to them. We haven't regressed, we've improved. And the reason why it showed us going backwards by 1 point, it was a timing issue. If you recall, 10% of our roadways, because of the rain, the weather last year, we had to postpone until this summer. And so that's what happened. It was a timing issue on how they did that report. But today, right now, we are in the 70 to 71 index range. And so I want to get that report, share it with our community quickly so they understand, the good work RJ and his team is doing. And the last one is Bob Brown is working closely with the planning department and helping them on some of their projects. One of them is what am I trying to, so I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. On short-term rentals, he's going to come in and help us with that process and bring something to the Planning Commission. The second item that we're going to look at is we're bringing a resolution to the council, probably the next meeting, on the Climate Action Committee and formalizing that long-term. And Amy, our town attorney, was able to really formalize how the decision-making, what their role is and what the decision-making matrix is for that group. And so we'll bring that to council for consideration. I'm shooting for this next meeting. Close in time, I want to recommend and bring something to council to have Bob Brown come in and help us really start those 5 education points that we're working on with the committee, to really start that work now, and then have Bob Brown help us on some recommendations of a job description and really a position to support staff, potentially both on the adaptation side and the climate action piece. And so that'll be coming to you pretty quickly. And I've been working closely with Councilmember Beckman on that as well. And so with that, those are my updates. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, Leela, go ahead.
Just a quick one. I may be the only one who doesn't know, but who's Bob Brown? Is that a firm or is it a person or what is that?
Bob Brown was worked in the planning departments for multiple cities and towns in Marin. He recently retired, and so he just has a good he has good expertise, and he's a good fit for our town and our philosophy. And so we brought him in, as other agencies have, as a consultant to help us with specific needs and projects. One of them, because from a timing standpoint, it's a priority. We wanted to bring short-term rentals to the council. He has an expertise and experience with that. And on the other side, he helped the city of Novato with some of their sustainability work and recommendations. And so in talking to Novato, we want to use his expertise because, we're only as strong as our experience here in town, and we need that someone outside, but that outside perspective of someone that we trust and have a good working relationship with. So Bob Brown seems to fit that bill right now.
Hey, Todd, do you have an update on the move and when we're going to go to possibly in-person meetings or hybrid?
Yeah, that's a great question. It should have been at the top of my list of my updates. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so we're working quickly for that. Two things. So we are planning our move mid-January. So the week of, is it January 14th, 15th? No.
18th.
18th, yeah, I was close. Okay, January 18th is our plan, where it's over 2 days. We're going to move all of our staff over to the Hunt Plaza office complex. We're working quickly right now to get the community room set up. I would just say safely, I would like to target the first meeting of February to have public meetings if that works for us. If council would like to do that, we'll be positioned to have public meetings. And one of the interesting things on the COVID variants, we had a Marin managers retreat last week, and we're still obviously Marin County Health and Human Services is following this closely, but Dr. Willis shared that what they're seeing so far with the variants, this is a smart virus, and so the variants are continuing, and it will continue. But what they're seeing is the variants as they go, it becomes highly it's God, I'm just having a hard time with words today. It's highly contagious. And so, and it becomes more and more contagious with each variant, but it's lessening the how it impacts the individual, the host individual that gets it. So that's good. So we're seeing more and more people get it. It's it's more and more contagious, but hospitalizations are staying flat, especially in the county. And so as long as that continues, right now, Dr. Willis doesn't see us going backwards within the next 6 months. And so that would put us on a trajectory for meetings moving forward in February.
Okay. And then I assume after that, commissions, planning commission, park and rec, et cetera, would kind of follow suit a month or so later, just to kind of make sure everything's working.
I think our intent would be to go right across the board and have all meetings across the board February. We'll be positioned to do that.
Okay. All right, thanks. Any other questions for Todd? Yeah, Eli.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to make sure, are we still going to have like a Zoom option for residents? So I think it would be, it would encourage the most public participation if we could let people choose whether they want to participate in person or on Zoom.
It's being set up this week.
Beautiful.
Any other questions for Todd? Okay, let's move on to town council reports, and we'll start with Eli.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The main thing that I wanted to draw folks' attention to, and I asked Rebecca to circulate this among the council, but it's the League of Cities annual report on all of the major state legislation that's come out over the past year. And I'm also going to ask if we can just post this on our website or something just to make it available to the public in case they want to see as well. It's just like a really helpful kind of summation of everything that's happened. I just wanted to draw folks' attention to a handful in particular. Obviously, there's been a lot of really big bills this year, but I think there's good and bad, right? There's new resources created for cities, and there's also a fairly dramatic stripping of local control. So in that latter category, SB 9 was, I think, the biggest one. That was Atkins. That's the infamous lot split bill that folks have heard about. So that's huge. SB1 also Atkins was relating to sea level rise. So I wanted to draw staff and council's attention to that. I think that may be something that that could be pretty relevant for Corte Madera, and it was creating, I want to say it was up to $100 million annually in grants for local governments to work on planning and countering sea level rise. So that could be an important resource going forward. SB 52, Senator Dodd was just clarifying that PSPS events, public safety power shutoffs can be declared a public emergency by the town of Corte Madera, for example, even if they're planned. So I know that had been a contention in the past, and some cities or agencies had declared an emergency for PSPSs and then got backlash from various higher authorities saying this was planned, so you can't call it an emergency. So we've got clarity there. That's good. Two others, AB 215, which was CHU, was a planning and zoning law. And I just wanted to point that out, since I know we're starting our whole housing element process right now, and it does mandate some new elements to the process there. So I thought it would just be important to draw, especially the planning department's attention to that, to make sure that they can account for that and get that into our schedule so we can be compliant and not have to rework our whole schedule. And then the last one was SB 314. Scott Wiener. There's actually one of, I think, at least two bills in the packet that had to do with outdoor vending of alcohol or alcohol in public spaces. And I think it relates to the kind of shift that we've seen in COVID, where we're kind of having a more indoor outdoor lifestyle where, people, restaurants are able to operate outdoors and with, parklets, and people can eat and drink outdoors. I think it's a great thing. I think residents are really enjoying it, and I think it's fantastic for local businesses. And the state legislature seems to agree. So that is, I think, a big win for the community and for our businesses. Those are the main ones that I wanted to draw folks' attention to. But I would just say, if you haven't gotten a chance, do go ahead and just leaf through that report, because there's a lot of really important information in there, and the bills are summarized in a way that's pretty easy to digest. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Eli. Thanks for staying on top of all the state stuff that we wind up getting stuck with somewhere down the road, and we have to deal with it. Leela.
Thanks. I can report that the Turkey Trot was a great success, and thanks to former Mayor Beckman for coming out and emceeing that event. We got way more people than we were expecting, and it was pretty crazy and really great. A lot of smiles on people's faces, and it really seemed to bring the community together on an important holiday. So I want to thank all the staff that helped us get that planned, and and all the residents who came out. I had a Marin Clean Energy meeting a couple of weeks ago, and continue to talk about the good work they're doing there. We had a home key meeting a couple of weeks ago. I think you were there as well, Mayor Castisa, where we set the date for that January 13th forum, where we can introduce the community to Homeward Bound, who will be running the Casa Buena. And we will start thinking about how to welcome the new residents at some point too in the new year. So we had a lot of success with the last welcome bag effort, and I hope the community will come out and support another round of that, so that we can make our new residents feel at home, and hope that they come to love Corte Madera and take pride in living here the same way we all do. Thank you.
Thanks. Bob?
Yes, I had a Marin Wildfire Prevention Association meeting. Two things of note. One, our new website is up, and we are averaging over 100 visits a day to the website, which is great. It's a really nicely done site. And also, we got a report on our chipper program, which ran in the fall, and the numbers were great. We actually picked up material from 3,793 homes and chipped 14,635 cubic yards of material. So we're making progress, and you'll be hearing lots more about the stuff we're going to be doing in the open space in the next few months. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. Vice Mayor Lee.
Yes, so this is shared with Eli, who's really taken a leadership role, but we both attended the MCMC water committees, and we got preliminary kind of goals and aligned ourselves into 4 subcommittees. I think Eli's on 2 and I'm on 1. And we're having ongoing meetings. There's one this Thursday where we'll start taking on assignments to dig down deeper into the issues that we're gonna want to discuss, and all of them are in. moving forward this next year. So I'm excited, and I think a lot of our partners in Marin are also very excited about the discussion. So, and then I have a TAM meeting and California League of Cities meeting this next week. So nothing to report until next year.
Okay, thanks, appreciate it. For me, I attended the age-friendly Corte Madera meeting, which was last week. Also attended the Ross Valley Paramedic Authority meeting. I also had a lot of meetings going on. The Park and Rec Commission meeting. On that, two things that came out of that. One is that we should be getting an updated fee schedule probably within the next couple of months or so. And then the other thing is, as Todd mentioned, they're still working on the master plan. There's been a couple of focus groups that had occurred. One was, I think, last week. I think one is coming up this week. And they're also planning on doing a couple of community meetings just to get more input to do the master plan, to kind of figure out what the priorities need to be as far as projects. And the survey that was done, that Park and Rec did, it was a big success. I think there was over 700 responses, and there was a lot of data there. So I think that's going to help with that overall process. And I think it's a very logical and methodical way that that's being handled, instead of trying to do things piecemeal. And then the last one that Todd mentioned, I also attended the Finance Committee. We met today. You should be seeing some recommendations in the next couple months or so, at least I think in February or so, on some of the items that Todd pointed out. And that really is a great group, I think, for the town. Total brain trust. There's a lot of good ideas coming out of there. And there's a lot of people on that committee with a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge. And I just think it shows in our financial numbers how we've been conservative and been able to set up reserves. And I think Eli mentioned this before, we haven't had a lot of the problems that other towns have had, either with unfunded pension liabilities, having to stop projects, CPA capital improvement projects. We just keep moving on, and we're able to set up the reserves for those also. So it's all good, and it's a great committee, a great group. Does anybody have anything else to add to town council reports? Rebecca, do I need to open this up for public comment?
You can take public comment, yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and open up either anything Todd has said or council members have said on their reports for public comment. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. And did we get any emails in versus tcmmail.org?
Thank you. We did not receive any emailed public comments.
Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to discussion of the draft agenda for our next meeting, which is Tuesday, December 21st. Is there anything that anyone would like to add to the agenda for that meeting? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. I don't have to do it public comment, Rebecca? No, okay. And with that, it looks like we're finished with our agenda, and it looks like we will adjourn the meeting unless anybody has anything else. See none? Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
We do have no SD2 meeting, by the way. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.